Kia ora, good evening. The Zero Fees Southland Sharks have won their first ever franchise NBL championship, arriving home today triumphant. The Sharks brought home the NBL title trophy, arriving to a warm welcome from around 100 fans at Invercargill Airport this morning. The Sharks beat the Nelson Giants in the championship final 92-81 yesterday, the team's first NBL championship win. Southland coach Paul Henare also won Coach of the Year. Invercargill City Council Chief Executive Richard King says council won't hold a ticker tape parade but does want to celebrate the team's success and is looking at an alternative function. We'll have more on the Sharks' win coming up in sport later tonight. Invercargill police have arrested and charged a 49-year-old woman with arson as a result of inquiries into a fire at a residential address in Princes Street in the early hours last Friday morning. The woman was due to appear in the Invercargill District Court today. Police say they would like to thank the public for their assistance in the investigation, and as the matter is now before the court, we're unable to comment further. Changes to the welfare system came into effect today, with the DPB, unemployment and sickness benefits ceasing to exist. 3 benefits now replace previous categories: job seeker support for those available for work, sole parent support for sole parents with children under 14, and supported living payment for people significantly restricted by sickness, injury or disability. Job seekers will have work expectations depending on their capacity, and all beneficiary parents have set obligations, including ensuring their children attend early childhood education and school. Anyone with work expectations must also be drug-free, and benefits can be stopped for outstanding arrest warrants. The Beneficiary Advocacy Federation of New Zealand has criticised the changes, saying beneficiaries are negatively impacted by the reforms, which will impose discriminatory social bias. Federated Farmers is predicting a shake-up of the dairy industry following the announcement a 7.5% shareholding of New Zealand dairy processing company Synlait has been sold to a Dutch subsidiary. The shares were brought by a subsidiary of Friesland Campina, which is one of the world's 5 largest dairy companies. Federated Farmers Dairy Chair Willie Lefferink says the $24 million investment in Synlait could be seen as a toe-dipping exercise, but there's an underlying desire to get exposure to New Zealand's liquid milk. He says Friesland Campina easily has the financial means to acquire more of Synlait later. He says having one of Europe's largest cooperatives enter the market, albeit through a commercial shareholding, may just spark discussion over how domestic cooperatives can respond, Fonterra especially. More people are walking in national parks in the Southland area, according to figures released by Dr Nick Smith, the Conservation Minister. The number of people doing New Zealand's 9 Great Walks has increased by 9.5%, with close to 87,000 people tramping the Great Walks for the 2012 to 13 year. The Kepler and Routeburn tracks saw the biggest growth at 19% and 17% respectively, while the Rakiura track saw a 9.5% rise and Milford rose 1.3%. Dr Smith says the record growth can be attributed to the Great Walk promotions with Air New Zealand and the new partnership approach by the Department of Conservation. A cyclist making his way through Southland may have turned more than a few heads at the weekend. Dressed as a lemur, 31-year-old Ivan Stewart is on a trip cycling from Nelson to Bluff and back again. The environmental consultant from Auckland took time off work to undertake an awareness and fundraising trip for the critically endangered silky shifaka. He'll cycle around 2,500 kilometres, with funds raised being donated to Simpona, which works to research and protect silky shifaka in Madagascar. Today in Owaka, Ivan reached Bluff at the weekend and says his attire is attracting a lot of attention.
So the outfit gets a few laughs. A few snide ones, but mostly good-hearted sort of stuff, and people are like, what are you doing? Are you a chicken? Are you a cat? And I say, no, I'm a lemur, and I get to explain, and people, sort of really engage with you that way, and it's been a good way to do things, I think.
Why do this fundraiser?
To raise awareness and to raise some pretty much needed finance for this work in Madagascar. I think it's really important. It's a country that doesn't get a lot of attention, so something that's dear to my heart, and thought I'd get out there and do something different.
And why the lemur?
Again, this particular species, the silky shifaka, they're up against it. They're critically endangered, one of the most, the rarest and the most endangered primates on the planet. And I guess being in Madagascar myself a few years back, I sort of fell in love with the place and the animals, and wanted to give it a shot. Yeah.
What kind of response are you getting?
Yeah, so far overwhelmingly positive. Everyone's been really friendly, really hospitable on the road, sharing the page around, the Facebook page that I have for it, giving me their support, chipping in with donations and things like that. Really, really good.
So halfway point, how's the cycle going?
Yeah, halfway. No issues, no flat tyres, no ending up in the side of the road issues. Pretty smooth sailing. Weather's been pretty good. 1,200 k's down, and I'll head up the east coast soon and loop around to Nelson.
Stay with us after the break. What impact did drought have on electricity in New Zealand earlier this year? Welcome back. Renewable electricity generation has taken a tumble, accounting for 72% of the country's energy in March 2013 quarter. According to the Ministry of Business, Innovation and Employment's New Zealand Energy Quarterly, the drop was due to lower than normal levels of hydro generation, which fell 16% due to drought conditions. The Manapuri and Te Anau catchments were among hydro storage catchments that were below normal levels, at one stage sitting at 71% below normal. Coal production rose 3% in the quarter, but was down 15% on the same quarter last year. Gas production rose, while domestic crude oil production and exports were at the lowest levels since mid-2007. Around half a tonne of rubbish was removed from Ariti Beach yesterday as the public took to the beach. Helping the environment and keeping it beautiful for future generations to come was behind a community clean-up at Ariti Beach yesterday afternoon. Around 40 people took part in the clean-up, with discarded items including broken glass, car parts and furniture removed. Several businesses also came on board, supplying gloves and bags for rubbish collection. Organiser Monica Toretto says there were plans to hold another clean-up day before the end of the year and was pleased with the level of support received. Inspiring ideas, protecting land and enhancing biodiversity was the goal of an expo in Invercargill at the weekend. The Biodiversity in Our Backyard Expo was aimed at Southland farmers and landowners wanting to find out more about the economic benefits of biodiversity on private land. An estimated 140 to 200 people were at the expo at the Southern Institute of Technology, which featured a range of guest speakers as well as information stands. It's the first time such an event's been held, and was a collaboration by SIT and other groups, including Environment Southland. An afternoon of entertainment has helped feed some hungry mouths in Southland. Around 300 people attended a variety concert fundraiser for the Southland SPCA's new animal ark on Saturday, donating canned pet food and some much-needed funds. The concert at Invercargill's Centre Stage Theatre included performances by Brian Townley, Suzanne Prentice and Lipstick. Also taking to the stage with a cast of Grease and models showcasing fashion from local stores. Event organiser Linda Howard says the variety concert raised over $3,500. The animal ark is currently under construction. Around 150 Southland dancers have been getting some international dance training over the past 3 days, with a series of workshops at Jazz Time Studio in Invercargill. Students from as far away as Te Anau attended the workshops, with 3 sessions a day run by choreographers and dance tutors Sue May and Alice Chow of Infinity Dance Studio in Hong Kong. The Chinese couple's visit to Invercargill comes after a group of Jazz Time students trained at their Hong Kong-based studio last year. Intermediate and advanced students were put through their paces in contemporary, jazz, funk and hip-hop styles, and Sue May describes them as good dancers who are young and energetic.
To pick up the time, I think Hong Kong is faster because get used to a style more and they need time to catch it. But the first day is not that good, but the second day when they go home and practice, they improve a lot, yeah.
And you're finding that they're fit enough and supple enough compared to the students you normally teach?
I think they can be pushed more. Yes, maybe they just lack of somebody new from outside. So I come here, I really want to push them to go a higher level.
So what would you like them to achieve during your time here?
Physical training, they need it so much, and also the musicality.
How do you go about teaching feel to dance with dance as opposed to on the beat?
Okay, I see. Maybe I'll tell them the story, maybe that I choreograph behind, and let them know that and try to feel what I feel. Yeah.
And anything else that you found interesting since you've been here in the classes?
Oh yeah, when I first come here, they will warm up themselves. They have a routine. Everybody knows it. This is very different from our country. We don't have it. Yeah.
So different in what way? You don't have a routine for warming up?
We don't have the same routine that everybody knows. Yes, the routine or warm up is bring by teacher.
And that's it from the news desk this Monday. Next on sport, more from the Zero Fees Southland Sharks NBL win. That's next. Good night.